Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about the subcontracting process within Odoo ERP. So, among other ERP systems that sometimes don't even have subcontracting available, Odoo does have a pretty straightforward process. So, this is just kind of a really baseline framework of what's going to happen, and we'll kind of go into how it's actually set up. So, this is just going to be kind of what a transaction, once everything is set up, looks like. We'll send a purchase order for that finished good to a subcontractor. This is irregardless if you're supplying them with the material, if you're drop shipping material to them. We're just going to be talking about today kind of the baseline process of send a purchase order. Once that purchase order is received by them and created, you are going to record kind of what they said they consumed, be that the raw materials, and then at the same time as the validation of that raw material consumption, the finished goods will be placed into your inventory as well. So that's just kind of the 1, 2, 3 of what we're going to be seeing kind of as the end product for this. And this works very simply and very well when you have one subcontractor or multiple subcontractors that you only use, I would say, intermittently. So you're not using uh, a given location for a subcontractor when you're going to use another one, if that makes sense. If you have multiple subcontractors with multiple locations that are keeping stock for you, that's when we're going to have to get into setting up multiple subcontractors, which is a little bit more tricky, but we'll get into it today and kind of show you how to do that as well in the current version of Odoo. So let's get into the system. Kind of two prerequisites for doing subcontracting are A, within manufacturing settings, we're going to make sure that subcontracting is checked right here. So that's number one. And then for the management of like an exterior location for your subcontracting, we're going to also make sure that within the inventory settings, our storage locations are set up as well. So this is checked as true. Once those are set in place, we're ready to actually create a bill of material for our subcontracting item. So I have one set up already here that we'll take a look at with our subcontracting finished item. So you'll set your finished good product on the product right here, the quantity that's being produced. And then this is what's going to be referenced by that purchase order that we'll create to actually have the subcontractor create these. And then based on that finished quantity, have your bill of material set up for what components are going to be consumed for that given item. So we just have a component item 1 and component item 2, and we have them set as 1 and 2 respectively, just so we can see the difference. And the thing that you need to check to make sure that this is indeed a subcontracting bill of material is that in this BOM type right here, you have the button for subcontracting selected, and then you'll enter the subcontracting vendor on this line. And if there's multiple vendors, you can put multiple vendors here, but we'll go into that after the base process and we'll get into that. So once that is done, the other thing that you need to make sure of is that in your finished item, under your purchase tab, you have a line set up for the subcontractor. So you're going to put it in the price here. One thing you can do to make sure you have it set up right is check your little buttons over here, get the subcontracted to pop up, and it should be set to true. So you'll have the green check mark in the subcontracted. If it's empty, it probably means you're missing something in that bill of material. So once that is set, just a quick note that the pricing or the cost of this finished item is going to be calculated by the price of the raw material on the bill of material plus the subcontractor price. So if I was saying I had a component cost or raw material cost on that bill of material of $30 and my subcontracting price, which will show on the PO, is $100, the total cost of this product would show as $130 raw material plus the subcontractor cost. So once that's all set up, I'm going to go to my purchasing app, create a new purchase order. We will look up our subcontract vendor, add our product, our subcontract product, and we can see it pulls in our $100 per one, which is correct. That looks good. I will confirm my order, and my smart button is going to pop up here once that's confirmed. And the other check you can have, just so you know that everything's going correctly and you have everything set up correctly, is that in the receipt for that subcontracting product, you'll have the option to record components right here. So that's going to be kind of your last check that everything is in fact set up correctly for the subcontractor. So when I click that, it's going to bring up a window for me. And don't be concerned that none of the bill of material products are showing right now. All you have to do is plug in that quantity for the finished product. It will pull through quantities based on that bill of material that we created. If there's any variances that are reported to you from your subcontracting vendor, you can change these as well if desired. Or if it's more, you receive more, it will still compute based on that bill of material. So any of these quantities can be changed if needed. We'll record production. And then once I hit validate, this is going to simultaneously put those finished goods into my destination location, which right now is my warehouse stock, and also consume that raw material from my subcontracting location. So that subcontracting location can either be replenished by a drop ship directly from one of your vendors, or it can be you supply them from your own inventory, but that can be shown in a different day. So once I have that PO finished or received in, we can take a quick look at stock just to show you what happened. And we can see that our material was put into stock. We have two here because I did one previously. And then also, if I look at my subcontracting location, we can see that I have negative stock because there was nothing there, but we have it being consumed. And I did one previously, so now it's 2 and 4 instead of 1 and 2. So this is pretty straightforward if you have one subcontracting vendor or subcontracting vendors that do not simultaneously use this individual subcontracting location. When you get into the point where you're going to be managing multiple subcontracting locations, that's going to be a little bit more tricky as far as the setup. But once you actually get it set up, it's very straightforward as far as pretty similar to what we just did. The big thing that we're going to do is set up a new location. So I'm going to name this one Sub1 and set the parent location as the subcontracting location. This is what's going to be kind of the key. So just make sure that that is done, or else it will not work correctly. So I'm going to set that, save it, and then also, just for the sake of doing it now, we will create our sub2 location. And this is just still showing that parent location as the subcontracting location. All of the ones you create as kind of one of your many subcontractors are going to all have the same parent location as the subcontracting location. It's not going to be a child of the sub1 location. You're not going to go down everyone. It's going to be everyone is going to be tied to this top level subcontracting location. So save that. And then we're going to second off, go back to our manufacturing, go to my bill of materials, go back to that sub finish item, and we'll say sub contract. Once again, pardon my spelling. Vendor 2. And we'll create them. So this is going to give me the ability to have both of these subcontractors be able to create this product from a purchase order. And then also, we're going to just set our purchasing as well with that subcontracting vendor 2. And we'll say $20. And we'll save that. And we can see that goes to true. So this is where we're going to kind of go into tying those new locations to those given vendors. So the thing we have to do before we do that is go into our settings. So you'll have to be an admin user to do this. Turn on your developer mode. And then we're going to go into our vendors. So either through the contacts app, which I don't have installed right now, or purchase vendors and get rid of that. We'll look up our subcontractors. We'll start with our first one, and you'll go to your sales and purchase tab, scroll all the way to the bottom, and under this inventory right here, if it's not there for you, make sure your developer mode is on. That's going to be what actually makes it pop up. And we'll set this to the location that we created for this subcontractor. So subcontractor 1, we're going to set it to sub 1. Save. Go to our second subcontracting location. Once again, the sales and purchase tab, subcontract 2. So this is going to be what links these given vendors to their location. So now, if I go back to my purchasing, new, oh, no, went too quick. Purchase orders, new, and we'll go our subcontract 2 with our sub finished item. You can see it pulls through correctly. Confirm. Receipts, just as we did before. And we can see that when we do our record components, it's pulling through that same bill of material data. And validate. Go to our inventory just to make sure that's going through correctly. And we can see our components have been consumed from our subcontracting location here. And then you can see that we had it go to that sub location for the finished goods, which is not what we want. So if that's happening to you, what we can do is go into our settings, change on our multi-step routes. And then go to our routes right here. Look at our buy. And it looks like this was changed to the subcontracting 1 location. We're going to set that back to our warehouse. We want WH slash. Where is our... But we'll put it in our warehouse. And if you have any sub locations to your warehouse, you can do that as well. So now we can see once that's changed, that when I create a purchase order, we'll go our subcontracting 2 again. With our sub item. Confirm, receive. I don't think I saved it. These may have all, making sure these weren't all set. Let's go back and try this one more time. I'm going to duplicate this one to be quick. Duplicate. I know what's going on. There we go. This is the rules that are being messed with. duplicate it one more time to pull through the changes. And there we go, finally correct. So record my components, add my line, or plug in my final quantity, and validate. So testing is highly recommended when you're doing this and setting up those multiple vendors, because it can get very complex very quick, as you've seen. Just making sure that everything is pulling from where you want to pull it, everything is getting put back where you want to put it. So just make sure that everything is looking correct, preferably in a staging system, before you get actually put in production. So that is the kind of thick of it. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact us at searbusinesssystems.com. There's a contact form. Feel free to go there and fill out a form. With more complex setups, it can get, like I said, very challenging very quick. So if you're having any issues, just make sure that testing is key and everything is getting consumed from where you want to be consumed from, and everything is getting put where you want it to get put from. We'll make a separate video about resupplying those subcontracting locations, because that can get to be even more of a bother. So if you have any additional questions to that, I'll link in the description once that video is made to explain that as well. Or if you have very complex setups, feel free to reach out to Sear Business Systems as well for any assistance needed with any of your Odoo needs. Thank you.